Well, howdy and hello there. You have found my fragrance review channel, Chrissy Love. My name is Chrissy. It's wonderful to have you here. Today is a really exciting day because I am blind sniffing 17 AVON perfumes. Now, AVON is a company that I have been a rep for, meaning I sold to myself. I didn't actually sell to anyone else. It was just to get the discount. And I have bought some products from them throughout the years. Perfumes not being one of them because usually they're pretty low quality. They don't last very long. I've tried their perfumes, like their sample sizes. As a rep, you can order a bunch of different size samples. And there have been a couple that have been okay. But once I started trying perfumes in the real world, I just couldn't do Avon anymore. But they've come out with a lot of different perfumes since those days, and I happen to still have my rep membership. Somehow it's still out there in the universe. And so I ordered a whole bunch of samples to give them another good try to see if any could impress me now. And these are all first blind sniffs for me, but except for one. There's one I had to crack open because I had the full bottle. And guys, this is, I think, the next Rich Warm Addictive. If you know what I mean, Zara came out with a perfume called Rich Warm Addictive that was part of the men's line. And it was like creamy and sultry and fall and like ambery and just like a really beautiful tobacco scent that was designed for men that everyone can enjoy. And it just blew up. Everyone loved it. And I think this might be the next version of that, which I'm super excited about just in time for fall. So, that being said, let's jump right in, and I'm going to talk about 17 Avon perfumes from 6 different collections. If you've ever been curious about Avon in your life, this is the video for you. Let's do it. So I'm going to start off with the newest collection to hit Avon, and that is Ginza Stefany, or Ginza Stefany. And I have 3 perfumes from them, and these are all kind of like nostalgic. They all have stories behind them. I'm going to start off with one called In My Arms, and it says, during the 19th century, British explorers Steve and artist Stefany from Ginza, Japan, exchanged scented love letters to keep their long-distance romance alive. In My Arms recreates the beautiful moment that Steve and Stefany shared a first kiss. Under a sunlit gardenia tree, as notes of blackcurrant and delicate peach filled the air, their undying passion was professed. And the notes on this are blackcurrant, peach, and gardenia. Oh my God. Wow, yes. I get each of those notes very clearly in this. The peach is delicious. This peach is so fresh and realistic and juicy. It's like it was just picked. And the blackcurrant gives it some zest. Wow, this is really pretty. The floral kind of is passing as it starts to dry down. But this is definitely a blackcurrant scent, predominantly with like that juicy peach in the background. That's really pretty. Okay, that's what I'm definitely gonna keep playing with because that's delicious. All right, so that is In My Arms. What's next? What you got for me? All right, next I have Always Beside You. Okay, now, so the first part of the story is the same as the other one. Always Beside You recreates the beauty of a warm summer day long ago. Intoxicating notes of orange leaf, tuberose, and earthy musk filled the air as Steve and Stefany shared a loving embrace. Okay, these stories are not very unique from each other. I'm getting that. So this has a top note of orange leaf, middle note of tuberose, and base notes of earthy notes and musk. Okay. This is a musk scent. This is a clean, fresh musk scent. A little bit of a green note in there. I kind of get that, but I'm not getting a lot of earthy. I'm getting a really straightforward, clean musk. Okay, so that's really pretty. Okay, this is like an easy wear thing. This is something that's not offensive. Kind of, I would say, office friendly. A little bit powdery. Okay, this musk is developing pretty nicely. That's actually really pretty. It's slightly romantic. It's a little bit powdery, but it's got this like gentle romance to it, like very ladylike. Actually, I could see this even being unisex. This is something that is not overbearing with sweetness or anything like that, but not very challenging either. Okay, that's a really lovely musk. I can see it's being good for layering too, because it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so that is Always Beside You. And the next one I have here is Wish You Were Here. It transports you back in time to a quiet, dewy meadow at dawn where fragrant notes of sweet hawthorn fruit, ripe pear, and sensuous patchouli filled the air, recreating the moment Steve and Stefany declared their love. No. And the notes in this are hawthorn, pear, and patchouli, as I just described. And I have to say that the pear note is getting used and abused these days, so interesting. I'm not getting any of those notes. Okay, the pear's coming out a little bit. It's kind of an earthy pear. I would not say it's really ripe or sweet or juicy. It's like an earthy pear still on the vine. And I think that hawthorn and that patchouli are kind of grounding it. Okay, so this is not like a Jean-Paul Gaultier La Belle pear. This is not like vibrant, loud, juicy, sweet, decadent. It's not that. This is like almost a melancholy pear. It's earthy, it's grounded, it's quiet. It's definitely a subdued pear, but pear is the leading star, but it's not an outwardly fruity scent. Yeah, that's really interesting. It's more like a pear tree is what this kind of reminds me of. That's actually really pretty too. Yeah, all of these are pretty. They're well blended. They're nicely done. This collection is a winner. It's worth checking out. I obviously don't know what the performance is like because it's just a first sniff. But if they perform, then these are actually really lovely showings for Avon. So, okay, so that is the Ginza Stefany or Ginza Stefany line. All right. Great. Definitely worth checking those out. I'm going to keep playing with those. Next, I have the Artisan collection. So I have two from this collection. I have Cherry Vetiver and Santal Musk. And these seem really promising from the titles. The packaging looks pretty nice, pretty sophisticated. I'll put pictures of the bottles in the corner, they always do. The packaging looks pretty sophisticated, and with the word artisan, I'm expecting a lot. So let's jump into these. I'll start with Cherry Vetiver. So we have a top note of cherry, middle note of Haitian vetiver, and base note of musk. Okay. And it says, sweet cherry blends with smooth Haitian vetiver for a captivating fragrance experience. So that doesn't tell you much. Yikes, it's all over the place right now. This alcohol needs to dry off a little bit. This is cherry cough syrup. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bold cherry. It definitely is a realistic, big cherry scent here. I'm getting a little bit of musk and vetiver. Like, I'll admit that it's getting a little bit more rounded. But this is very syrupy, kind of cough syrupy, kind of giving me a little bit of numbness in my mouth. And that's not because I drank it. From my nose. You know, I'm not a big cherry lover in perfumes, but it is cherry, but it's a bit too cough syrup for me. It's a little bit too syrupy. Yeah. I don't know. If you like cherry, you might actually enjoy this. Because it is very cherry forward, but I think this is a little bit too cough syrup for me, which is very common in cherry perfumes. It's really hard to avoid that sometimes. All right, so let's move on to Santal Musk. So they say Indian sandalwood mixes with magnetic white musk, creating a memorable fragrance experience. And it has top note of nashi pear, middle note of rose, and base notes of sandalwood and musk, which sounds promising. Ooh. This is a sandalwood scent. It's a really earthy, dirty, like sandalwood in a cave. This is getting more of like an artisan vibe for sure. It's getting a little bit pickly on me. Yeah. I'm not really getting rose. I'm not really getting pear, but I think maybe the pear is lending a little bit of sweetness, but this is mostly a really earthy sandalwood. But that pickle vibe, I cannot abide by. Maybe on my skin it would be a little bit different, but it's kind of briny. Yeah, this is like a briny, natural sandalwood, dusty, dry. It's interesting, but again, not something I'm probably gonna run out and buy. So okay, so that is Santal Musk, and that is a wrap on the Artisan collection. Next, I have the Studio 1886 collection, which came out in 2020, so last year. And I actually dabbed the cards in advance this time, so I wouldn't risk spilling it all over myself on camera. I'm gonna start off with Gilded. So it says, celebrate the opulence of Victorian America through this unique fragrance. An exquisite blend of watery rhubarb, violet leaves, and rich black currant transports you back in time with a modern twist. And the top note is rhubarb, the middle notes are rose, black currant, and violet leaf, and the base note is white musk. Ooh, that's really good rhubarb. You know, sometimes rhubarb fades the background. I'm always looking for it in perfumes when they say they have it. I'm like, oh, I love that rhubarb, because I love Dolce & Gabbana L'Imperatrice, which has that rhubarb and watermelon note in it. And this is like a really fresh, zippy rhubarb. Very realistic. I definitely get black currant. I definitely get rose. It's zesty. It's a little bit floral in a really sophisticated way. But that rhubarb is really shining here. That is so refreshing. It's like when you want a citrusy kind of scent and you want freshness, but you don't actually want just citrus. Like that rhubarb reads as being super fresh, but still delicious and like zesty. It's not super complex, but it is a really refreshing one. This is like a cool drink of water. I really like this. Delicious. So that is Gilded. And then I have XXI, which is 21 in Roman numerals. Ooh, okay. A fragrance that embraces the fearless entrepreneurial women of today. Oh, thank you. Addictive notes of sparkling orange, fresh sage, and patchouli drive from top to bottom, inspiring confidence. And top notes are angelica and orange, middle note of sage, I love to see that, and base notes of fig and patchouli. These are some really good fragrance notes. It's earthy, it's green. It has a slight like gummy bear note. Like I picture a green apple gummy bear, because it has this kind of like zest that you get in candy when it's like gummy candy has this like artificial flavoring, I know, but it's kind of like this fresh zestiness. And I'm assuming that's the orange. And that fig is definitely there. It's like fruity and dense and hanging in the background. The patchouli is not dirty or offensive. It's barely there. But this definitely has like an herbal but fruity feeling to it. This is really nice. Like a little bit unique. I haven't smelled anything quite like this before, but it's easy. It's like herbal fresh. Yeah, it keeps getting more and more green. I'm getting more of the angelica in there. If you like kind of natural scents, this is really lovely. It feels fresh, and that sage is coming in. Sage is such a comforting scent to me. Very cleansing, but the fig makes it sweet and round. Yeah, this is lovely. Okay, so that's 21 in Roman numerals. And finally we have Techtopian, a fragrance that looks to the future and inspires the exploration of merging disruptive and the multi-dimensional, with electrifying notes of magnolia, white rose, and warm musk, blurring the virtual with the natural. that's a bit heavy-handed, I have to say. The top notes are magnolia and lily of the valley. The middle note is white rose, and the base note is white musk. This one's a little stinky. It's definitely rose and musk, and it's powdery. But I would guess it had, what is that? You know what? It just doesn't smell that great. It smells a little cheap. It smells poorly blended, like it has bad ingredients in it. It kind of smells like dirt. And it has this weird, like, synthetic zing to it that's not fresh, though. It's like this nasty zing that, like, poison has on it. You know, like something you're not supposed to eat or smell has that, like, kind of, like, weird tang to it. No. No, not good. Okay, so Techtopian is a no. But the other two, I'm actually pretty excited about. So, all right, so that closes out Studio 1886. I now have 4 scents from the LYRD collection, like LYRD, something like that, and they're all floral leaning. So I'm not a big floral lover, so we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to start off with Peony Rosé. And it's top note of red currant, middle notes of peony and dewdrop, and base note of musk. Okay, nothing special, but it is definitely a zesty, dewy floral. It definitely is. You definitely get the red currant. It's sweet in a really natural way. It is zesty, zippy, and fun. And it smells like a fresh peony. Like, it does smell like there's like dew on it. It's still on its branch. Okay, so that's like a pretty scent. It's really non-offensive, very office friendly, I would say. Okay, it's like a fresh floral. It's a pretty basic fresh floral. All right, well, that's fine. Next we have Sparkling Neroli. And this has notes of neroli, bergamot, and musk. Oh! It smells more lime-like to me than bergamot, though it's a fine line. It smells unisex. It smells really fresh. And I think that the musk really does round it out. It doesn't smell like just spraying like lime juice on you. It smells like a really nice cologne. Well, not nice because it's like fancy and expensive, but nice in that it's like uplifting, easy, you know, like a daily kind of cologne. Yeah, it's super fresh. It's actually really pretty. That's pretty nice. Like, I can see myself using this in summertime or when it's really hot or I'm on vacation or something. Definitely unisex. That's actually a really pretty one. And I apologize. It looks like my camera's kind of like doing funny things with like the light coming in and out, so I apologize for that. Next we have Bouquet de Freesia, and this has freesia, amber, and tulip. Oh yeah, this is a freshie. This is like realistic. The amber might be adding a bit of sweetness, but really this is very much a freesia and tulip running the show here. It actually smells like floral petals. Like, it really smells like a little bit earthy, like you're kind of smelling the fiber of the petal. It's really comforting. This is like so natural smelling. It's like really fooling my nose. Like, I'm thinking that I'm walking through a garden right now. Something really natural in there. It's just connecting for me. It doesn't smell like perfume. It smells like rubbing petals on your body. I actually really like that. There's something kind of romantic about that I really like. Wow, okay, so that's Bouquet de Freesia. And finally I have Rose du Soleil, and this has top note of raspberry, middle note of rose, and base note of patchouli. And this came out in 2021, whereas the others came out in 2020, for what it's worth. Oh, this is fun! It smells like raspberry and rose. It smells like fresh picked, fresh raspberry and rose, like a bouquet or something. I'm not really getting patchouli, but it smells, I'm getting kind of like a dirt smell, but it's not offending me. I don't usually like dirt, but it smells like really natural. I am definitely getting that like perfect blend of raspberry and rose. It's so equal. That is so funny. It really smells like a rose sitting in its dirt, right? Yeah, the rose is growing in a bush, but okay, a rose bush sitting in its dirt with raspberry. Yum. That is really nice. Okay, so that is Rose de Soleil, and that wraps up the LYRD collection. Next, I want to talk Haiku. Now, there is a brand new Haiku Sacred Intense that came out in 2021, which is why I wanted to talk about it, but I also grabbed the original Haiku just so I could compare and understand the difference between them. So the original Haiku, it has top notes of pomegranate, dewdrop, yuzu, pear, and freesia, middle notes of lily of the valley, jasmine, kumquat, Chinese peony, prunella, fig, and tuberose, and base notes of musk, sandalwood, vetiver, tonka bean, and vanilla. Now this is a real freshie. I'm getting just the dewdrop, like pure dewdrop, nothing else. Yeah, maybe some florals in there. It kind of like gave me this like weird feeling back in my throat, like I'm allergic to it or something. Like very natural floral dewdrop, very fresh. Okay, so that's great. Now Haiku Sacred Intense, which is the new one, has top note of tangerine, middle note of rose de mai, and base note of driftwood. Yeah, this one has more going on that I'm really liking. So this definitely has the rose, and I'm getting that sweet tangerine sweetness. If I hadn't known it was tangerine though, I might have said like a berry, like raspberry or something like that. But it is like a nice fruity sweetness with rose. It's really different than the original Haiku. It doesn't have any of that like dewdropness or that floral to it really. I mean, rose is a floral, but it doesn't have that like generic floral to it. Yeah, if I hadn't known what were the notes, I'd probably say like raspberry and rose, which is similar to the other one I reviewed from AVON already. Now for the one I've been really excited to review, and that is AVON's True Gent Eau de Toilette, which is from the men's collection. And this is what the box looks like, nothing that special. But this is what the bottle looks like. Reminds me a bit of Rich Warm Addictive by Zara as well. Now it has a top note of bay leaf, middle note of tobacco, and base notes of vanilla and suede. Also sounds familiar, right? Oh, it smells so good. Oh, it's like this really beautiful pipe tobacco. It is vanillic. It has a little bit of that underpinning of suede, so it's like a bit edgy. That bay leaf, oh my God, it has a little bit of spiciness to it. It has all the notes. It absolutely, I'm getting all of them immediately. It's like slightly masculine. That bay leaf makes it a little more masculine than the Rich Warm Addictive is, but I love it. This is like snagging your boyfriend's sweatshirt and when you're around all day and being like cozy and feeling kind of sexy and feeling kind of like I'm a woman and I'm owning my womanhood, but I'm also like owning the masculinity in me. Like maybe that's going too far, but oh, that is so sexy. Yeah, I want this on my man. I want this on me. I want this everywhere. Yes. Yes. Oh, that is really, really good. And that is True Gent. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a winner. This is amazing. So yes, this wraps up my AVON blind buy first sniff test. Jumping in the deep end, and I hope you've learned something. I've definitely learned something. I've learned that AVON is definitely upping their perfume game, and there are some really interesting ones I'm excited to keep trying. Let me know in the comments if you want me to follow up with a wear test review of my favorites. At least I won't do it for all of them, but for my favorites that really piqued my interest, let me know if you have any interest in me going deeper dive into them. Let me know, and let me know what AVON scents you are loving right now. So thanks for liking and subscribing and commenting. Thanks for being here, and I hope you have a very beautiful day.